Hey class, it's Mrs. Kane. It's about 3:30 on Wednesday, and it was a beautiful day. My kids are actually outside in their swimsuits playing with water balloons and chasing each other with water. The clouds are just starting to roll in, so hopefully I won't be interrupted by them during my video. Alright, so today I'm going to be reviewing, evaluating logs and properties of logs, and I'm going to use an activity, the We Do, You Do, so it's going to be a little different with the screencast. But basically, I'm going to do all the odd problems with you. After each problem, I want you to pause the video and I want you to try the corresponding even problem. I'm not going to put the answers to the even problems on the video, but in Schoology, there's an answer key posted. Please try to do it where you do one with me, you try, one with me, you try, and then wait and check all your answers to the evens at the end. All right, so we're going to start with a few evaluating problems. So when you're asked to evaluate logs, remember that you're looking for exponents. So I like to set this up, log base 125 of 5. I like to put a box here. I'm trying to figure out what this log equals. Okay, and so I want to know 125 to what power equals 5. Okay, and when your number, your base 125, when it gets smaller, it's either because the exponent is negative or it's a fraction. Okay, so in this case, what one thing can we do to 125 to get to 5? Okay, and the key is we can take the cube root of 125. We know the cube root of 125 is 5. So we need a way to write the cube root of 125 as 125 to a power. So remember in the last unit we learned that 125 to the 1/3 power is the same as taking the cube root. And so the answer to the log is 1/3. Okay, so pause the video and try number 2. Okay, so the next problem, the next odd problem that we're going to do together, we're trying to evaluate log base 2 of 1/32. So just like the previous problem, I'm going to put a box here. And my base is 2, so 2 to what power equals 1/32. So this time, our base got smaller again, but notice now we have 1 over, so that tells us that our exponent must be negative. So we know 2 to the 5th is positive 32, and so 2 to the negative 5th is equal to 1 over 2 to the 5th, which is 1/32. And so our exponent is -5, and this log equals -5. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to properties. So in the turn-in assignment that I graded a couple days ago, there were some mistakes, some clarifications that I'm going to try to make. So when you expand, one of the keys is to count how many terms the original expression has. So log base 7 of 2x cubed. So I want you to notice that your argument, that's the part that you're taking the log of, has 2 terms. We have a 2 and we have an x cubed. Okay, and so when we pull those apart, we need to write log base 7 2 times. Okay, so don't drop the base. So we need to write log base 7 for the 2, and we need to write log base 7 for the x cubed. Hang on, my kids are interrupting me, sorry. What? Yeah, go ask Daddy, because Mommy's in the middle of a video. Okay, now when you pull apart these terms, these that are multiplication, okay, you're going to, multiplication turns into addition, so you're going to put a plus sign, okay? If your argument has division, then you turn it into subtraction. Now, the last step here is to take any exponents and put them out in front of the term. And so for this problem, we get log base 7 of 2 plus 3 times log base 7 of x. What do you guys want to do? Don't bring that in the house. No way. Go ask Daddy for help, kiddos. Okay, sorry, my kids are outside playing with water balloons, and now it's getting cloudy, and it looks like it's going to storm, so they want to bring all of their water balloons and the bucket of water in the house and take them in the bathtub. So I'm trying to recruit my husband to take care of that. Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead and pause, try number 6. Okay, so the next one, let's start by counting how many terms that argument has. We have an a cubed, we have a b to the 5th, and we have a 3. So we need to write log base 4 3 times. We need 1 for the a cubed, we need a log base 4 for the b to the 5th, and we need a log base 4 for the 3. Now the first 2 terms are on the top. They're being separated by multiplication, so I put a plus sign in between the first 2 terms. The last term, the 3, is on the bottom, and so I put a minus sign. Okay, so remember, division becomes subtraction multiplication becomes addition. And when you expand, the last thing is to take any exponents and put them out in front. That's going to be your last step. So for this problem, we get 3 log base 4 of A plus 5 log base 4 of B minus log base 4 of 3. Okay, so hopefully that is making a little bit more sense. Notice that the exponent only goes in front of the log that has the corresponding variable. Okay, so pause the video and go ahead and try number 8. Okay, now the next problem is a little bit of a challenge, but since we're doing it together, I want to show you how to do this. So I'm going to start this problem by rewriting this in exponential form. So log base 4, I'm going to put x over y in parentheses. And the cube root means I'm going to raise that quotient to the 1/3 power. Okay, and the reason I write that in exponential form is because now we can use our properties of exponents. We know that this means log base 4 of x to the 1/3 over y to the 1/3. So that exponent gets applied to the top and the bottom of the fraction. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many terms I've got. I've got my x to the 1/3 on top. I've got my y to the 1/3 on the bottom. And so I need to write the word log twice. I need log base 4 of x to the 1/3. Now division becomes subtraction, so minus log base 4 of y to the 1/3. Okay, and then the last step is to take these exponents and move them in front of the log. And so we get 1/3 log base 4 of x minus 1/3 log base 4 of y. Okay, so if you start by rewriting in an exponential form, it should hopefully help you to see that both of those terms are being raised to the 1/3 power. Okay, pause, try number 10. Okay, so now we're going to talk about condensing. So when we condense, we're using the same properties we just talked about with expanding, but we're going to smush our terms together. So the key to condensing is that we can only use the word log once in our final answer. So the first thing you want to look for is any numbers out in front of the word log. Okay, those numbers become exponents. So this 2 is going to come up here, and it's going to become, that second term is going to be log base 4 of x squared. Okay, so if I break this down into steps, right now I have log base 4 of 5 plus log base 4 of x squared. Okay, and now I'm going to smush these together. I'm only allowed to write the word log once. So addition becomes multiplication. And so I get log base 4 of 5x squared. Okay, pause and try number 12. Okay, so for the next problem, I'm again going to start by putting any numbers out in front and making them exponents. So this 2 and this 5 are going to become exponents. This is going to be log of a squared, and this one's going to be log of c to the 5th. Okay, now I'm only allowed to write the word log once. Okay, so I have log, my base is 10, so I don't have to write a base. Now the a squared goes on the top, and then anything that has subtraction goes on the bottom. So I'm going to put a squared over, okay, b has a minus sign in front of it, so the b goes on the bottom. Go outside. And then the c to the 5th is also going to go on the bottom. Okay, and that's because there's a minus sign. So you're really dividing by b, and you're dividing by b to the 5th. All right, so go ahead and try the next one. Couple more here. Okay, so the next one, I see I have a 4 here, so I'm going to put that on top and make that y to the 4th. All right, now I'm only allowed to write the word log one time. Now the x starts on the top. The 3 has a minus sign in front of it, so that's going to go on the bottom. And then this one's a little tricky. Notice the y to the 4th has a plus sign in front of it, so that means I'm going to take this quotient, I'm going to multiply by y to the 4th. And so what happens is that y to the 4th ends up on the top. Okay, and so the trick there is that if it has a plus sign in front of it, it goes on the top, and if it has a minus sign in front of it, it goes on the bottom. All right, go ahead and try number 16. All right, and then in the last example, we're going to condense and then we're going to evaluate. So we have numerical logs here. So after we condense, we're going to be able to find the value of the log. So for this one, I'm going to smush together my 2 and 54 using division. So I have log base 3 of 2 over 54. Okay, and so that's going to, I can reduce that fraction to 1 over 27. And so now evaluate means tell me what the value of the log is. So 3 to what power equals 1 over 27. Okay, and so 3 to the negative 3 is 1 over 27. So the answer is negative 3. Okay, go ahead and do number 18, and then I want you to open the answer key and check all of your even answers. And then I just want you to work on your Math Excel problems for tonight. That's due on Friday.